Future-Proof is sponsored by Equipping Young Adults for Life, inspiring student resilience, championing hope.
Fear, false expectations appearing real, let it go. It hasn't happened yet. Don't operate in fear. Be brave and bold enough to go out there and get it. You can say no. You can keep control. Rejection, you do not need to seek approval from other people to have permission to be who you are today. I don't anymore at all. That doesn't make me perfect or any of those other things, but I'm able to step away from it. Anger, short-term anger, is, some would say, even healthy. It's like stress. The first stages of stress, they even say as human beings we need stress. But long-term anger leads into resentment. That's where forgiveness comes in. And often people think the opposite to love is hate. It is not. If you hate somebody, then you're still in relationship with them, and I bet you they are draining your energy more than you're draining theirs. How often can you be very angry with somebody and you're so hacked off because they're out there having fun? How can you be out there having fun? I'm really angry with you. But they're having fun. And then guilt. Either stop doing what's making you feel guilty or just stop it. And by the way, if any of you are parents, I vouch the guilt tag comes with you as a parent. It's just stuck there. There's not a lot we can do about it. So rationalise and prioritise is what I would say. Because for me, those emotions never really went away. So when you come back afterwards, I'm going to take you through 3 other little lessons that I learned. And I'll be talking about Howard Gardner's 8 Intelligences. I'll be talking about Tony Robbins' 6 Basic Human Needs. On the piano here, you can see examples of books that have inspired me and helped me along my journey. And I'm going to run through the first 6 questions tied up with an emotional intelligence diagnostic. This is available for you to download on Interesting Talks. So, I'd like you to, in your mind, or if you've got pen and paper, mark down out of 10. 10 high, 0 is, okay? And you can have a if you want one. So, I'm usually aware of my feelings from moment to moment, and as they happen to change. Mark yourself. I bounce back quickly from daily setbacks or upsets. When people share their problems with me, I have the ability to put myself in their shoes. Intuitive, don't think too long. I deal calmly with stress. I'm considered to be an optimistic person, even in the face of setbacks. When I'm grumpy or in a bad mood, I make a strong effort to get out of it as quickly as I can. I accurately read other moods or non-verbal cues. I'm known as someone who has a passion for a purpose that goes beyond status and money. I can build rapport with people from all walks of life. I have the ability to be adaptable and open to change. I am persistent in going after the things I want and considered to have a strong drive to achieve. And last one for this half, I'm able to manage relationships well and build good networks. So who's the hero in my story? In some ways, he is a retrospective hero, because I didn't know he was a hero till I read his book. And when I read his book, it was like joining all the dots up backwards. It was like a set of dominoes that just triggered and ran forwards. And I thought, that just makes such total and complete sense to me. I haven't brought his book with me because it's on Kindle. Many of my books are on Kindle, by the way. So I'm going to give you his name. Have any of you read Richard Rohr, Falling Upwards? I highly recommend him to you. The main reason why is he talks about necessary suffering. And as human beings, we will often do all we can to avoid suffering. Any parent will tell you that you will do anything and everything sometimes to stop your kids from suffering. And I like the fact that he actually challenges that and says that as human beings, we perhaps need that for our own sanity and our own personal growth. With my story that I've told you, I think you'll agree that in some ways I probably had a story that could make anybody cry. So when we're behaving badly, and I certainly at the time was demonstrating playground behaviour, fear, rejection, anger, guilt were riddled through everything I did. And if you're not careful, you stand there and go, yeah, but you don't understand. You don't know what I've been through. How many of you might think like that? You may know somebody like that. And when we're like that, and I was right in the middle of that guilt of doing it, I expected special treatment because you don't understand what I've been through. There's a great saying, just because we have pains, it does not give us permission to be a pain. That was a hard lesson for me, but a very, very real one. But when I looked back and I read Richard's book, Falling Upward, that's exactly what has happened. But he also talks about 2 levels of thinking. And he reflects and said he's been in cancer units with 10-year-old kids, and he has seen those kids, 12-year-old kids, on the 2nd level of thinking. But he's also been amongst people who are 40, 50, 60. Some even go to their grave, and they have never moved out of the 1st level of thinking. The 1st level is about the container, our identity, the things that we have, our labels. In the break, somebody came up and talked to me about this great book written by a fellow speaker, The Leader Who Had No Title. In the 1st level of thinking, one of the things that can be so important to us is our title. How many leaders, new leaders, do you see? I've got a leader, I've got a name on the door. And they go in the door and shut it and sit behind a desk, almost saying to the whole rest of the world, I'm a leader now, you must knock, kind of idea. And what this book talks about is saying all of us can be leaders. I did a presentation for the PSA some years ago, and the title was Leadership is for Everyone. It covered a lot of the content I've covered in the first half. And I would say to people, if you feel you can't be a leader because of all the stuff you've done, sometimes you might be sat there thinking, but you don't know what I've done. Then I just say, well, come and join the queue and stand up behind me. Because my behaviour in the past has been appalling. And if you take away the titles that we are given or we give to ourselves, and acknowledge that we can all be leaderships in our own right, then you will find a leader in every neck of the woods that you go in. I know a friend of mine who had a severely handicapped child, and she could really, really hold an audience, this girl, and she couldn't even speak. Who do you know? If I went round with a microphone and I said, could you give me a name of somebody who you think is very influential? Who would that be? Who do you think is somebody? You may know them personally, or you might admire them from a distance. Maybe somebody on television. maybe somebody from years ago, or somebody right next door to you now. And you felt that they are a person of influence. I want you to hold that thought. I love the word suspension. Write it down. Suspension. We are sometimes too quick to respond. How many times, a lovely story, I wasn't going to tell you this, but I will. Somebody sent me an email. They were advertising something. Dear Sarah, we know you're very, very well networked up. Please could you send this advert out to all of your clients? So I forwarded it up to my husband and business partner. I said, bloody cheek, how do you reckon I should reply? I accidentally hit reply.